Great. I have this open here as well. I'd encourage everyone to navigate to this. You could just search Datasembly grocery price index, or go to datasembly.com/grocery-price-index. You could see here what we have is, a tracking of category by category, anchored to a date in 2019 when we started building this product, where every category is at 100, and you could see how prices have increased over time. I mean, and you could see just the neck break, shocking inflation and price increases as they were happening through, the beginning of the end of 21 and all through 22, and even continued now into 23. But when we talk about cooling, you could clearly see the shapes of these graphs turning downwards even in some of these categories. And we have this one pull down here, include eggs. Now, the reason that's there is because when you include the egg category, I'll show you guys what this looks like. It's just quite shocking. It just dampens out everything.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, eggflation is real.
Eggflation is real. And I think perhaps most exciting here, we could change the timer here just to the last 3 months, and you could see the egg category clearly acting differently than the other categories here that we have highlighted, and the last 2 weeks have been even quite dramatic. So we'll see we're watching that very closely. Now, I think what's important here to note is that, if you're looking at the whole CPI number, this might get drowned out or cause a tiny blip. But man, if you're a retailer and eggs are one of your KPIs that you think drives price perception or drives shoppers, it doesn't matter that the whole basket's only gone up a little bit when eggs by themselves are going up 10 points. And so understanding this and tracking it is critical. And also seeing how quickly things can shave. This wasn't like some gradual shift that then suddenly moved up. It was, suddenly in that week, it just skyrocketed, and it's going to be critical to track these things.
Another thing, give the audio listeners an idea of how much eggs are going up in terms of what they're looking at too.
Oh yeah, I mean, I pulled up this last 3-month picture, and you could see the price of eggs just skyrocketing, going up almost 10 points over the last 2 weeks. So that's 10 percentage points based off of the anchor in 2019, going up just in 2 weeks from 125 to 136, so 11 points. When all the other categories are flat or down even. So that's a dramatic increase. And again, this perhaps is not shocking for anyone who's going to the grocery store, but nevertheless, understanding the level of how this is happening and how it's happening. I'd be remiss too if I didn't mention the granularity here as well. This is all built off that same sort of data.
Same data set, right? Yeah.
Datasembly, which means that we're not just looking at a national picture. We could break this down by, if we let's say pull up eggs here. We could break this down by state and by different category, or let's pull up a more interesting category that has a breakdown like frozen I saw earlier, where there's different subcategories, and you could see how,
wow,
frozen,
you get subcategories too. Wow, that's
so
cool.
Frozen, and when you're talking about the whole frozen category, if you're in frozen desserts, things leveled off. Looks like way back in September of 22, it's been pretty flat since, while some of the other categories continue to rise, and certainly frozen fruits and vegetables and frozen meals have really stood out as ones that have continued to push forward. So that, we're talking about, we could pull this up down to the item level. Of course, having some of those higher level aggregations allows you to, not be crippled by having a million different products that are in your assortment, but having something about that higher category index that helps you break it down.
Yeah, and if I'm a DMM at a retailer too, I'm thinking about like, oh man, this changes how I even determine my plans or my bonuses for the year too. Like in terms of like, hey, did you do well, or did you do well because your category had more inflation in it relative to others? That's pretty awesome stuff, man. Oh
yeah, spot on. Exactly. It's like capturing these things at the whole category level even really doesn't capture the nuance. And then of course, even, same point here is it's also regional. Right, you have places where, again, now we're just looking at the frozen category, where there's states where the index has changed 20%, and places where it's changed 30%. There's huge variances regionally as well. This is brought up state by state, and highlights some of the big movers. And you can do that by different sorts of metro areas if you're urban versus rural, and a lot of different